Hi everyone, my name's Paul. It is Tuesday, December 8th. It's kind of sunny out, but it's chilly. I mean, it's December, so it should be chilly, right? Um, we're getting close to the end, aren't we? We're almost done. This is kind of a review week. Um, and next week is finals. And that's it. You happy? Um, I wish we'd had a chance to have real classes in the classroom together. I think I'm a much better teacher in a classroom than doing these YouTube lessons and posting stuff online. So I'm sorry. Um, First, I guess, thank you to everyone who called last Friday for the cacao interviews. We talked about directions on a map. They were good. Not everybody called. Huh. It's okay. Yeah, there's some students who aren't calling and aren't really doing homework. They're not doing the cacao activities. They're not doing homework. You've got to do your final if you want to get a good score in the class. There's still a chance, but you've got to do your final. So final's important, and there's going to be different ways you can do it this time. We're going to be doing in class tests, speaking tests. For anyone who wants to come to Dongshin to meet me and do a one-on-one speaking test, I have said before I prefer that because when we do sometimes do the cacao talk interviews, sometimes I know that you're with maybe you're with friends in the same room, or sometimes people are outside and they're with someone, and maybe I can hear other people talking. Um, and like that's okay, I guess, for cacao talk interviews, but for your final exam, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to be with other people. It should be alone, you and me. Um, so you can still call me. I'm not. It's going to be your choice. You can come to Dongshin and meet me, or you can call me on Kakao Talk for a test. Uh, but I really don't want you to be with someone. I want you to be alone when you give your test. Um, also, later this week, I'm going to give you the test questions. Yes, I give you the test questions to study and prepare. And what's going to happen is, so you'll have this paper with all the test questions, and it's not for you just to read. You know, if you have the paper, I don't want you just like the bank is across from the cafe. Um, you know, I like dogs more than cats because dogs are more helpful than cats. I don't want you reading. I give you the questions to help you study. Okay? So, if you're doing your test online with me over cacao or whatever, I don't want you reading while you're doing the test. That's not the point of it. So, anyway, whatever. So you have the choice though, class, in class, or online. Either way, the test will be between 5 and 10 minutes. There'll be more information about that on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. So I'll let you know more then about like where, like classrooms and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm so dry. Excuse me. Okay, what I wanted to do today is just kind of cover all the things that are going to be on your final so you can start preparing. There's going to be 10 questions. We covered 10 units in this semester, and there's going to be 10 questions. Now, you don't answer all 10. That's too many. In like a speaking test, and if I'm asking you more like follow-up questions and stuff, 10 questions in 10 minutes is too much. Okay? It should be 4 or 5 questions. That should be enough. Okay? So, maybe I should write this down on my board. So yeah, the exam has 10 questions. You choose 3 or 4 questions. Okay? So you think about the different topics. On Friday, when I actually give you the questions, you can look at them. You can decide which ones you want to talk about, which ones you think are most interesting, the easiest, whatever. But yeah, you can choose 3 or 4 of the 10 questions. I will choose 1 question. I just choose 1 question for you. Okay. And usually, like if I choose a question, maybe you don't like it. If you say pass, maybe that's okay. Passing on 1 question, I don't really care. If you pass on many questions, then I think maybe you're not ready. Maybe your test kind of sucks. So it's not bad if you choose to pass on 1 question, maybe even 2 questions, but don't pass on much. All right. So I'm going to just talk about each unit. Kind of give a little summary of what we did in each unit, and you can think about it. I'll write them down as we're going as well. So the first one, way back at the beginning of September, the first unit was small talk. And that's about people meeting for the first time and talking about different things. Could be things about your hobbies, where you're from, family, jobs, school, things like that. So just some simple questions. So for example, if one of the questions on there is, where are you from? Okay, simple question. Where are you from? Maybe you say, I'm from Gwangju, you say. So I might then ask you some follow-up questions, which is an important part of what we covered in the first unit, follow-up questions. I might ask, what's Gwangju famous for? Okay. Or a family question. Do you have any brothers or sisters? So like in my case, I have an older sister, I would say. And maybe you'd ask, what does your sister do? Is your sister a student? So yeah, like questions about family related questions there. So that's question one. I think a pretty simple one. Number two, unit 2 was kind of like on weekends and just activities that you might enjoy doing on the weekend. A big part of this unit was, maybe you remember, how often we do different things. Like how often do you study on the weekend? Some people might say they always study. Some say usually, sometimes, rarely, or never. Okay? Using the prepositions of frequency, and particularly those 5, maybe other ones too, but particularly those 5 prepositions of frequency, always, usually, sometimes, rarely, never. Okay. So in this one, I'll probably just ask you about some different things you might do on the weekend, or just popular common activities to do on the weekend. Okay. Like if you ask me, how often do you go to a cafe on the weekend? I think I usually go. Like on Saturdays, I usually go to a cafe. And there could be follow-up questions there. I may ask you follow-up questions for all of these. Okay? So if we're talking about, like, if I say I usually go to a cafe, maybe you ask, or I might ask, what's your favorite cafe to go to? Okay? And maybe why do you like that cafe, for example? Number 3 was about food and drink. Food and drink. Now there's sort of 2 things we did with that. We talked about foods being like countable and uncountable. There may be a bit of that. The main part of this, though, is about recipes. So for question 3, I'll probably ask you how to make a certain type of dish. So how do you make bibimbap, for example? And the thing with that, too, with recipes, is the sequence markers. Maybe remember first. So if we're talking about bibimbap, first, cook some rice. Okay. Then prepare vegetables. Next, mix vegetables and rice and add a fried egg. Then add oil and gochujang, and finally mix together and enjoy. So yeah, things like first, maybe second, next, then, finally, the sequence markers. Okay? That's the food and drink one. Next is holidays and special days. Number 4, holidays and special days. And a big part of this one was ordinal numbers. So my birthday is on May 20th. For this one, I'll be looking for. Well, I hope you can say all the months in English. I think many of you maybe know them already, so we didn't really cover them much, but I hope you can. But also to use the numbers. So many times Koreans will say, like, as I said, my birthday is May 20th. May 20th. But many Koreans might say May 20. That's not the ordinal number used for dates and special days and holidays and stuff. Or this month. What's the popular holiday later this month? Christmas Day on December 25th, not 25. Okay. So yeah, for that one. I'll be looking at if you are able to tell me the different ordinal numbers. So tell me the correct dates. Okay. Moving on. This is taking a little while. Number 5 is preferences. Which do you prefer, cats or dogs? Which do you prefer, soju or beer? Questions like that. So, and the important thing there is to use examples of the comparative. Dogs are cuter than cats, more helpful, friendlier. Cats are cleaner, more independent, easier to look after. Soju is better with Korean food, and it's stronger and maybe cleaner. Beer is more various and more, well, you might say beer is more delicious and better with chicken. Okay. So for this one, I'll be looking for your ability to use the comparative. Better, worse, nicer, cleaner, more delicious, more interesting, more exciting. Okay. Number 6. Number 6 is favorites. And so 5 was using the comparative. 6 with favorites is superlative. So instead of nicer, nicest. And instead of just talking about 2 of something, like cats and dogs, and beer or soju, you talk about your favorite of something. Out of many things. So instead of saying dogs are cuter than cats, you'd say maybe dogs are the cutest animals. The cutest. The most delicious. Like I would say that 닭갈비 is the most delicious Korean food, in my opinion. Okay. So yeah, for that one, I'll be looking for your use of superlative instead of comparative. Remember, with both, this is both for units 5 and 6. Never ever say something like Lotte Tower. The Lotte Tower is more taller than the Yuksam building. Just taller. Okay. Write those down. No, these are wrong. Well, actually, no. Sorry, you should still have the there. But yeah, more and most are not used in those. Taller, the tallest. The Lotte World Tower is taller than the Yuksam building. And Lotte World Tower is the tallest building in Korea. Okay. So yeah, we'll just talk about some favorite things and like who's the best Avenger? Maybe you like Captain America because he's the most handsome. Perhaps you like Black Widow because she's the most beautiful. Maybe you like Hulk because he's the strongest. Or maybe that's Thor, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's Thor actually, but doesn't matter. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So next is Unit 7, always one of my favorites. Advice. What should I do? Remember we did some about health, like I have a cold, I have a hangover, being sick from drinking too much. But also personal problems that you might be worried about. So things like, oh, if I feel homesick, I really miss Canada, what should I do? So there's going to be a question like that. Sometimes students make a mistake with this one. They'll say, like I ask, what should I do? So we'll take the homesick one. I'm feeling homesick, what should I do? And many students will say, I should, but you say you should, because you are giving advice to someone else. You say you should, what was it for being homesick? Oh, you should watch some YouTube videos, you should call home, you should eat some food, you should meet friends from your country, things like that. Also, for this one, I'm expecting you to say things that you should do and also things that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't be alone and you shouldn't worry so much. Okay? So I'll be looking for both of those. You should and you shouldn't. Getting close to the end here. Just want to cover each one. Next is future plans. We did this recently with going to and will. For example, what are your plans for Christmas? And again, remember, if you use going to, if you have some kind of plan made right now, like maybe you booked a trip or something. I don't know. Maybe you made a plan with your friends. But you use will if it's more something you're not sure about. Okay. So I would say that I'm going to give some nice presents to my wife and to my puppy. I'm going to do that because I planned that. We will enjoy some nice Christmas dinner. I haven't really planned that exactly, but we will do that. I really want to do that. So, okay. So I'll be looking for examples of things you're going to do and will do. Okay. 9 is about travel. Have you ever been to Jeju-do kind of things? We did that just a couple weeks ago. Okay. Pretty simple. So you can maybe tell me about some things places you've been to, countries or cities, places in Korea you've been to before. Okay. And finally, 10 is just what we did last week, directions. And maps. Just have maps. For this one, there's going to be a map as well. Okay. And I'm just going to ask you to tell me where some places are on it. Pretty simple. Yeah, the map one, and those of you who called last week, you all did this right. But just for people who didn't call, again, huh? And also, it's not directions like go straight, turn left, walk 5 minutes, cross the street, like that. It's not that. It's just saying where something is on a map. Like it's on Main Street across from the movie theater. The cafe is on Main Street across from the movie theater. So you talk about the streets that something is on. Oh, by the way, too, forgot that. This was last week. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Last week, only one student was able to use on the corner. I ended up making it kind of a bonus, okay? If we've got Main Street here and First Avenue, probably should actually be the other way around, but whatever. One like this, the cafe, which is right here, is on the corner. On the corner of Main Street and First Avenue. Last week, only one student actually got this correct. I ended up giving her a bonus point for it. So the rest of you didn't lose points for not using on the corner. But I hope you can for the exam. Yeah, so that's one that's kind of important. But yeah, so yeah, for part 10 with looking at maps, the street or streets, like on the corner, and also across from, next to, between, in front of, and behind, to kind of cover some of those. Just one more time. So, yeah, just covering it one more time. The movie theater is just on Main Street, okay? It's not really that close to First Avenue here, is it? But the cafe is actually close to both of them. Like, it's right there. That's being on a corner. On the corner of Main Street and First Avenue. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be all the elements of your final. As I say, you just choose some of the questions. It's not all of them. 4 or 5 questions, and that's it. One more thing, there is going to be what's called a degree of difficulty. Maybe I'll talk about this more on Friday. Degree of difficulty. Students who choose the easiest questions, it's okay, but I would like it better if you choose some difficult questions. So, degree of difficulty, it's a bit hard to explain, but like, if you choose some of the easy questions, question 1, small talk, 2, weekends, holidays is kind of an easy one, maybe the food, maybe the first 5 are some of the easier questions. If you kind of choose most of those, it should be really, really good. You can still get a good score if you choose the easiest questions. If you choose the harder questions, you might still get a good score even if you make a mistake. So you don't have to, it's all up to you which questions you want to talk about, but the degree of difficulty element means that choosing the harder questions is more impressive. I'll feel, I might, if 2 students are kind of the same, there's 2 students, one chooses the easy questions, one chooses the difficult questions, their speaking tests are mostly the same. The one who chooses the more difficult questions may get a better score. Does that make sense? I might talk about it more next time. Give you a little more information about it. I think that's all for today, though. Okay? Take care, everyone, and I'll see you later in the week, okay? Bye!